Hello and welcome to another episode of Ctrl Alt Defend. My name is Dirk Prinsloo, Cloud Architect at BUI. First of all, Happy New Year, guys. Yeah, it's here, although it's not so new anymore, I guess. But and second of all, it's been a while since we had one of these episodes, so I do apologize for that. It's been a hectic end to the last year, but I think we'll kick it off with a bang. Specifically focusing on some new things announced at Ignite end of last year for Microsoft Purview. So first of all, what we're going to be taking a look at is a lot of things around DLP, right? Data loss prevention. So first up, I think very interesting here, obviously for those of you who know, when you create a policy, a DLP policy, you have to scope it to a source. Now in preview currently, there is a new source, which is obviously Microsoft 365 Copilot. And policy scope to this location works very similar on how you would, for instance, stop a highly confidential or labeled piece of content. So this policy works in exactly the same way. The only difference here is obviously the blocking is not going to be on the email sending or sharing of a document per se, but more around the response for labeled content. So if you do have a highly confidential document or artifact in M365, when you do try and summarize that or ask questions about it, that's going to be adhered to. And also the rule will be violated, and therefore administrators can take action if they need be. Okay, cool. Next up, we have something very cool, and I'm really excited about this. You can now, in a DLP rule, right, within the policy, you can now run a custom Power Automate workflow. So when you set this up the first time, there is one template to choose from the last time I checked, which is to notify your manager, or you can create a custom workflow, as long as the trigger of that custom workflow is when an item violates a DLP policy. Now, this is quite interesting because it opens up a whole bunch of things. Typically in a DLP rule, we had to use the actions that were available to us depending on the source of your DLP policy. But in this case, it's going far beyond that, where we could actually start doing interesting things. I'm thinking about, maybe there's a way for us to, on the fly, redact sensitive information within an email or an artifact using this kind of custom workflow prior for that communication to be sent out. I don't know. We'll see. But interesting. Like I said, very dynamic, really opens up a whole new possibilities for DLP. Next up is, I've been noticing this around a lot of Microsoft products, and that is the embedding of Security Copilot within everything. Now, not a lot of people have access to Security Copilot yet, but we're starting to see that Microsoft is developing a lot of capabilities around Security Copilot, and Microsoft Purview is no different. In data loss prevention, for example, here, we have additional insights. So when you go to your policies, Security Copilot pops up and provides us a whole bunch of information about your policies, right? So things like where your policies are looking for sensitive information, what kind of sensitive information, what scenarios are triggering these policies, how are end users impacted. A lot of cool insights, but what's really interesting for me is the fact that you can then ask questions, right? So it is Security Copilot, it is generative AI. So we could ask questions about, all right, where are my gaps, for example, or, how can I do better? Or is there a certain configuration of these policies that I need to tweak? Now, this is for all my policies, but you have the same experience just for one policy. So Security Copilot already providing insights into our DLP configuration. Fantastic. Next up, another interesting thing is the labeling within SharePoint document libraries. So we know that there is a thing called container-based labeling, right? So that allows you to set a default label. So everything you upload into that library then receive that label. Specifically, for scenarios where these are exception libraries. For example, libraries containing highly sensitive information, and they're typically encrypted. But what about the other libraries, right, that currently has just SharePoint permissions applied to them, but not necessarily encryption? So now with this capability where you extend the protection, it's basically that when you download or move the file from that library, the permissions gets applied in an encrypted label on the document. So if you know sensitivity labels, you know that one of those types of encryption is where the user chooses who's got access to what. This mechanism uses that capability. It's basically just taking the permissions that applied to the library and encrypting the document and then applying that same permissions, so that whenever that document travels around the world, that original permissions of the library would then obviously be applied to the document, also being encrypted, of course. So fantastic for that things, people trying to steal stuff, right? We get to see that still all day, every day. And lastly, insider risk management. There's been a few new AI related templates in insider risk management. I'm showing there at the left, but there's a new one that Microsoft has rolled out end of last year called risky AI usage, right? And this policy basically detects prompts within AI tools that contain sensitive information or risky intent. What's really cool about this template is that it also adds to the risk scoring of users when these are detected. Note that this policy is also one of the quick policies that you can create with the new and updated DSPM, or Data Security Posture Management for AI, the old AI Hub, which I'll talk about in our next slide. So yeah, cool. Microsoft keep extending those policies, making it easier for administrators to go and implement. And then lastly, as I mentioned, DSPM for AI, right? Data Security Posture Management. This was the old AI Hub, but it's not a renaming exercise. It's rather a revamp of the entire platform, and it provides us, various capabilities and insights into Gen AI usage within the organization. I suppose not just Gen AI, but just data security posture in general. Some of those are obviously data assessments to identify and fix potential oversharing risks within the organizations, and a whole range of other cool stuff. I'm not going to go through them in detail. I'll put a link to a really cool YouTube video in the description of my video, which you can go and look and watch, that goes through all of these cool things. And that's really great, and all that we have time for. Again, just thank you so much again for watching and sticking around. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you have not already done so. And in our next episode, we will be taking a look at the Entra Suite, slightly shifting gears from news to some new capabilities. And in that episode, we'll provide a high-level overview of the Entra Suite itself in terms of what it covers. You'll see the kind of roadmap here on the screen at the moment, and we'll be talking about that in that session. Great. So again, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.